didn't have to think too long about which WrestleMania match result I would change, because whilst I am, disappointed that they just sort of gave away Asuka's undefeated streak to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for nothing, and yes, of course, Sting should have gone over Triple H because we get it, we don't need another reminder, Vince, you won the Monday Night Wars, well done and all that. The match I instantly thought of took place at WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania apparently, even though that's not how anniversaries work. The match result I would change is the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Now, as far as I can tell, this was meant to be some sort of huge showcase of how far female wrestling has come over the last few years. And despite the fact that none of them got any entrances, instead they just had to walk past and pretend like they want to shag Kid Rock, the list of people in this match was incredibly impressive. You had the likes of Victoria, Gail Kim, Mickie James, Michelle McCool, Layla, the Bella Twins, Alicia Fox. The list goes on and on and on. And who won the match? Santina sodding Morella. Why? Because silly, innit? No. Who would have I had win the match instead of him? Anyone? Literally anyone. I'd have had Jillian Hall win that match and serenade the WrestleMania crowd for the rest of the bloody show if I didn't have to watch Santina put on a crown because Vince McMahon doesn't know what comedy is. I wonder Trish Stratus avoided this like the sodding plague.
Hello, WhatCulture Wrestling. It's Flippin' Marks here, the host of Kayfabe News. Make sure you find that YouTube channel and give it a subscribe. But when it comes to which WrestleMania finishes I would have changed, it's nice and simple. I'd first go back to WrestleMania 3 and ensure that Jabroni Hulk Hogan didn't win. I'd give the victory to Andre the Giant, because I mean, what real success came out of that? At WrestleMania 14, I would have had Shawn Michaels super kick Stone Cold Steve Austin's head off and make sure he got the win. And one I would definitely stick with was at WrestleMania 30 when the Beast Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's have a little bit of a conversation. Anybody who thinks that Brock shouldn't have won in that match is an absolute idiot. There's my 2 cents. Remember, Kayfabe News, the best show on YouTube. Give it a subscribe. Flippin' Marks, signing off.
So I was originally going to talk about Daniel Bryan losing to Sheamus in 18 seconds at Mania 28. Mainly because I was there, and I remember at the time I was so annoyed with that result. But like looking back on it, I think that's kind of the moment that kickstarted the Yes movement, and then Daniel Bryan just kind of shot to superstardom. So yeah, I can't really complain about the outcome of that. So instead, I'm going to talk about Rusev versus Cena at WrestleMania 31. Now, Rusev was on an absolute tear. He was undefeated on the main roster. He'd already beaten the likes of sort of Sheamus and Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Big Show. He'd already beaten Cena at Fastlane. Then he met Cena at Mania. He lost clean. He lost to Cena again, twice more on pay-per-view after that. Then he got caught up with the League of Nations crap, and now look at him. Don't get it. He just needed that one little push to get him to that next level, and this should have been it. Him and Lana was such a bloody great team. He came out on a freaking tank. How do you ruin a tank? Don't understand. But yeah, I'd definitely change that.
Right, now mine comes on a bit of a technicality, right? Because I realise that we want to change the outcome of a match. Usually means to kind of like the end result. You'd want to change the end result. Who won and who lost. Mine isn't exactly that. I would like to change the outcome of Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would you want to do that? Undertaker shouldn't have won that match, yada, yada, yada. Or maybe he should, I don't know where you lie on that. What I'm talking about is Roman Reigns can win the match. That's fine. I have no problems with that. I, in fact, liked that, thought it was a great idea, loved his promo the next night on Raw. The outcome that I want to change, that's the result in my mind. The outcome that I wanted to change was that Undertaker's retirement was so good. Like, that moment was class. Really good. Couldn't have ended better. Lovely bit of imagery there. Everybody was happy. Yes, it was a sad moment because he was retiring, but ultimately, in the history books, looks pretty good, doesn't it? That's the way to go. And then he doesn't. Like, after WrestleMania 33, we've come time and time again, and now what we're looking at, WrestleMania 36, he's still here. He's come back. We've had all of the shenanigans in Saudi Arabia. I don't even want to get into them. I will say, the match he had as the Graveyard Dogs was pretty good. That was really good, in fact. And I have said this on so many videos, and I stand by it. It's all because of that tank top he was wearing. But yes, genuinely, I think that was the good ending. He should have retired there. It should have been done and dusted instead of coming back. I think there's only a legacy being tarnished along the way. And don't even get me started about the bloody social media stuff with him, Michelle McCool, and that goddamn tiger.
Hello, just wanted to quickly slot this entry in here. I just heard that Phil's editing this video as we speak, and he's just told me that Triple H versus Booker T is not an entry as of yet. Now, in my 5 years at WhatCulture, 5 years nearly, in my 5 years at WhatCulture, I have never ever edited a segment about that match that didn't end in the sentiments that Triple H is a cunt.
Hello there everybody, lover and a fighter, Adam Cleary here, and when we all got to talking about what WrestleMania match result would we change, it occurred to me that all of my esteemed colleagues were going to go for an injustice. They were going to take a wrestler who truly deserved to win the big one, or a wrestler who really didn't deserve to win the big one, and sort of alter the future of WWE like that. But nah, not me. I'm not going for an injustice today. I'm going for an inaccuracy. Because you see, the history books have recorded that John Cena and Nikki Bella defeated The Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania 33. They won that match and they won that feud. But as anybody who was there, who watched it, or in my case, was in the arena that night, will tell you, that's not what happened at all, because that feud was never about wrestling. It wasn't about who were the better wrestlers. It wasn't about who could win that one wrestling match. It was about this idea that love is a work, that Miz and Maurice, they were this real genuine couple, but John Cena and Nikki Bella, they were not. They were purely a couple for the cameras. They were a PR stunt. They were just there to kind of enrich their own careers off the back of this high profile relationship. And you saw the total Bella's bullshit skit they did, where they portrayed Nikki Bella as this ditzy, airheaded, not even totally sure which Bella she was, sort of love-struck idiot. And John Cena, he was this uptight, strict, hundreds of rules, I can't get married because it's not right for my career just now kind of guy. That was their whole premise. And the second that John Cena got down on one knee, it proved they could never ever win that match. Because yeah, alright, the referee, he might have rung the bell, there might have been a tap out or a submission, and in years to come, millions of years from now, when space aliens land and they blow all the apocalypse dust off the record books, they will see that John Cena and Nikki Bella, they defeated The Miz and Maurice. But nah, that's not what happened. That's why I would change that result, because the second John Cena got down on one knee, right, and in front of all the stage lights he could find, live on the WWE network, in front of tens of thousands in the arena and millions watching at home, with his best friend from the Today Show handing him the ring, he proved once and for all that love is a work, because everything they said about them was correct. He could have proposed backstage, he could have done it privately in his own time, but he didn't. He had to do it in front of the cameras, because that's all their relationship ever was. So I would change the result of John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice, because the true winners of that match, and indeed the feud, were the true couple all along, The Miz and Maurice. Because, my friends, if life has taught us all one lesson repeatedly, violently, it's that love is a work. And that's the T.
So the one WrestleMania match outcome I would change is a pretty recent one, actually. It's Charlotte Flair versus Asuka from WrestleMania 34. Now, I'm not usually one for fan favourite outrage whenever someone loses to a company favourite or whatever, and Charlotte Flair is one of my favourite people in the whole company, but at the same time, when you look at kind of what's occurred since then, okay, the Carmella feud was a lot more damaging for Asuka, and she's had various other moments where she hasn't felt all that important despite her obvious talent levels. They still cut off what could have been a really marketable unbeaten run on the main roster, taking it way beyond NXT. I think they probably could have coasted on that thing for at least another year. They could have saved a lot of money, sold a lot of tickets over challenger upon challenger upon challenger, stepping up to face this unbeatable menace at the top of the division. And instead, Asuka just kind of tapped out, and then she's losing to Carmella, and James Ellsworth is a thing again, and suddenly she's just kind of a mid-carder, and sure, she won the belt by the end of that year, but it didn't quite feel the same. The speed bumps hit along the way had a definite effect, and I think now, in 2020, the Kabuki Warriors are great. She's really entertaining, she's found a niche, but she could be on the very same level that Charlotte and Becky are on the hierarchy right now. It's a shame, it's a missed opportunity, and it's a bad WrestleMania result.
If I could change the outcome to any match in WrestleMania history, I'd probably go with the Iron Man match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. I don't really have a problem with Shawn Michaels winning. It's not really about that. It was the boyhood dream and it was his babyface moment. I'd just rather have them go 3-2 maybe with the last kick of the game rather than Shawn winning in injury time. Last kick, see what I did there? Maybe Shawn wins with a super kick in the last sort of 10 seconds of the match to get the pin. We've seen countless Iron Man matches on pay-per-view and on television that have gone to 4-3 and even 6-5 and 3-2 and things like that. And I think at the time, Bret and Shawn were both so vain, neither of them wanted to sell, neither of them really wanted to take a pinfall or submission against each other. And what that resulted in was an extremely drab and boring 60 minutes that has become divisive rather than a love letter to the time, a love letter to the incredible work of the two men. Bret and Shawn were better than your favourite wrestling, and yet their WrestleMania main event doesn't really advocate that or advertise it particularly. I'd like there to be a match that stands up to this day, that shows why they were the very best to ever do this, why they could be used for generation upon generation upon generation without people from the Ruthless Aggression era saying the WWE used to suck, but it don't suck no more, because it didn't suck in 1996. It was incredible. It was incredible because of Bret and Shawn, and I just wish they'd had the match that would have told that story. Shawn can still win, but I'd just like it to be in a very dramatic last-minute super kick victory in the 59th minute after several falls, rather than in the 62nd after none.
If I was going to change one finish at any WrestleMania event, it's nice and simple. You don't even have to think about it. It's nothing to do with The Undertaker. It's nothing to do with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's nothing to do with Triple H. It comes down to WrestleMania 17. Gimmick, battle, royale. You remember all of that. We gave it to the Iron Sheik because no one could knock him over the top rope because he was so broken down and injured. What we should have done is we should have sat down and rethought this and given it to the one and only Repo Man. Now, I haven't actually done much research into this, but I can't even remember a match that Repo Man won clean. This could have been it, or if nothing else, he could have gone round and stolen everybody's gimmicks or whatever props they brought to the ring. He could have repossessed them because that was his damn character, and he could have won the Gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17. But we didn't do this. Nobody even had the thought to do this, and as far as I can remember, that's the last time we saw Repo Man in the damn WWE. What are we waiting for, huh? What are we waiting for? Induct him into the Hall of Fame, make some kind of trophy, the Repo Man trophy, that everyone should fight for at WrestleMania annually, get rid of the Andre the Giant one, and make it a Repo Man one, and what the hell? Go and change Mount Rushmore. Put Repo Man on Mount Rushmore. I'm sick of people not thinking, I love Repo Man, I love Repo Man, Repo Man for President 2024.
Rightio peeps, hello from this Chatty Places video where I am currently sat in my bedroom. Obviously the question right now is if I could change any outcome from any WrestleMania match in history, in all of WWE history, what would that match be? Well, for me it would be The Undertaker's streak losing match at WrestleMania 30 against Brock Lesnar, and apologies if that's a spoiler, but really with the name of this video you're just asking for it, aren't you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry, it's one of those. But yeah, that match is... Oh, it just conflicts me so much because, great. It was a super shocking moment, and Paul Heyman's face was pretty much my face and probably everyone's face around the world when that happened. But it just, the fact that Lesnar got that rub. Lesnar didn't need that rub. He could have gone on a streak for a year, beaten everyone like he did after it anyway, and still been in that special attraction bracket that he is now. That's not changed massively from that. He would have still been suplexing people left, right and centre. He could have built in quite easily because he already was quite legit. He was a UFC champion. But then, yeah, you could have given that streak instead to somebody who really needed it. Somebody like Bray Wyatt, somebody like Finn Balor when he was in his Demon Guys, Aleister Black now, people like this. Could definitely have used that rub and become this new immortal supernatural force in the WWE to carry the company forward, that long-term booking strategy. Whereas they give it to Lesnar, and yeah, he felt like the baddest thing in the company, but he already pretty much was legitimately. He didn't need it. I feel like I am going around in circles a little bit because this conversation does get me spiraling in circles. But yeah, for me that is one of the, if not the biggest match in my mind that I would change the outcome of at WrestleMania because yeah, it should have been used for somebody who definitely needed it.